Good morning, traders. I am Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Friday, March 14th. Today's moves follow a dive into correction territory for the S&P 500 yesterday. Investors weighed Trump tariff talks, the health of the economy, and a possible shutdown, which seems to have been avoided as we prepare for trading on this Friday morning. During regular trading yesterday, the S&P 500 gave up 77 points or 1.39%, a 10.1% drop from the index's record close last month. The Dow tumbled 537 points or 1.3%. The Nasdaq lost 345 points or nearly 2%. The Nasdaq is headed towards its fourth consecutive negative week. Bill, let's get into Friday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
I'm watching the S&Ps this morning. We're showing a lot of green on the screen, a lot of positivity. S&Ps are up 0.95%. Wow, that's a big turnaround. And, we needed some sort of catalyst to kind of move this market higher because it was really, weak and oversold. And, you got one with the government shutdown looking like it's going to be avoided as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Shumer announced that he's going to be backing the continuing resolution bill. And, while he didn't ask for anything. He's just going to back it, which, probably doesn't do, a whole lot of good for his political clout in the Democratic Party. I mean, it is a positive for the markets because there's not going to be it doesn't appear that there'll be a government shutdown this weekend. So, markets are taking that in stride and they're actually pushing higher because of that. So that's good news. And on top of that, you got an announcement out of China that they're going to have a press briefing on Monday. Listen. The expectation is that they're going to be announcing some stimulus action. So, that's positive. President Trump, he's going to be at the Justice Department this afternoon around 3 p.m. He's going to be discussing his agenda with them. There's talk that he might be signing some executive orders around noon, but I can't get confirmation on that. Key economic data point for today is that consumer sentiment data out of the University of Michigan. It's going to contain inflation expectations, so it's going to be one to watch. In terms of earnings reports, hey, you know what? Ultra Beauty, ULTA, DocuSign, DOCU, and Symantec, SMTC, they're all higher after releasing earnings last night. So, that's good. And, taking a look overseas, we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is up 1.67% or 375 points. I'm seeing gains in financials and the healthcare sector. The FTSE's up 56 points or 0.66%. Listen, mining stocks, transportation stocks are higher. Now, the GDP in the UK did come in weaker than expected. But that kind of increases the odds of a rate cut from the Bank of England. So it's kind of, that negative is actually looked at as the positive. And then, you look at Paris, the CAC, it's up 1.24%. You're seeing now performance in defense and luxury stocks this morning. Then we're turning our attention over to Asia last night. Asia mostly saw green. I mean, the Nikkei jumped 0.72% or 263 points. Listen, the yen yen is weakening, and that benefits equities. Hong Kong, on the other hand, jumped 2.12% or 497 points. Sentiment's positive, with positive action in consumers and mining stocks. And then you look at the Shanghai and China, it jumped 60 points or 1.81%. Listen, they had anticipated economic stimulus announcements on Monday where the top government officials are scheduled to hold a press conference. That's going to be big for that market. So, we could see further gains Sunday night in the Shanghai market. And then we're turning our attention to oil. And, you look at oil this morning and guess what? It's showing gains. It's up, WTI is up 0.78% to $67.07 a barrel. Brent's at $70.41 a barrel, up 0.76%. Markets kind of reacting to U.S. sanctions on Iran following, and also the fading expectations of a peace deal in Ukraine, and plus the Chinese stimulus action that's expected for Monday. That's also a positive. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update, Emily.
Bill, we are seeing greens on the screen this morning. And again, after a big drop in markets yesterday. And as you pointed out, really on the back of the news that the government may not shut down, but is that going to be enough to hold onto green throughout the trading session? We will find out. The other area that we need to look at is other market moving information. Along with those big headlines, we want to dive into the details, see the stories behind the stocks. And we're going to do that throughout today's show so that we can prepare for the trading day ahead. We will start with earnings action as we do every morning. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings today?
Sure. Let's, there's a lot of interesting earnings that came out that we can talk about. First off is Ultra Beauty, ticker ULTA. They beat by $1.31. They did that on higher revenue. You look at that stock this morning, it's up 7.36%. And then you look at DocuSign, ticker DOCU. They beat by a penny, and they did that stock's up 10% this morning, so that's all positive. Upcoming Monday morning, you got the ticker SAIC, Sam, Apple, India, Charlie, Science Applications. The estimate is $2. Expected move is 11.42% when they release on Monday morning, Emily.
You're watching those earnings using your NewsWare and that earnings alert. You're also watching economic events. You did point out one in your opening. So let's get to those economic events of the day. Bill, give us a rundown there.
Yeah, in terms of economic events, the key one to keep an eye on this morning is the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report that's coming out at 10 a.m. This morning. When it came out last month, for this period, it was revised sharply lower to 64.7 in February from a preliminary reading of 67.8. Which was the lowest level since November of 2023. So, we do want to pay attention to that. That could be a negative catalyst today that we got to be cautious of. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to get the Baker Hughes rig count. Those figures are also coming up. But that's all I have for you in terms of economic reports in the tape this morning, Emily.
Along with following that earnings action and those economic reports, you're also keeping track of other types of news, data, and information. You look at different sectors and segments each morning. You're looking at headlines like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, and other catalysts. You also look at your stocks grouped together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. And as we get ready for this Friday, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Just doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 23 higher, 6 lower, 1 unchanged. Look at my FANG stocks. We're showing gains across the board. Up, Apple's up 0.5%. Meta's up 2%. So yeah, we should see some gains in that S&P. They should be able to hold for the majority of the session. But you're looking at some of the news behind the tape, like Apple. Apple's working on a feature in their AirPods to do live translations of conversations. That's smart. That's good. Stock's up 0.52%. Amazon. This is interesting. AAOI, Apple, Oscar, India. They're issuing Amazon's warrants to purchase up to 7.9 million shares of its stock. I mean, there's a deal going on there. Meta Platforms. Listen, the stock's up 2%, but an arbitrator ruled yesterday that an author, a former employee of Meta, who wrote a negative book on the company, they're not going to allow her to tour or promote her book because apparently she signed an agreement saying she wouldn't say any disparaging comments on it, but she wrote a book, and they're not going to let her go on tour. So that's kind of positive for Meta. Then we're talking Dow Jones 30 stocks. We're talking this is Apple and Boeing. This is really on Apple. The U.S. and the U.K. are in talks to resolve that Apple encryption issue, and then Apple and Boeing companies are going over to Vietnam next week to in a joint business mission to kind of talk about tariffs and ways to avoid them. That's interesting that they're going to be able to do that. In terms of merger news, Digital Bridge, DBRG, David Boy, Richard Grace, they're going to be acquiring Crown Castle's fiber solution business for $4.25 billion deal. In terms of guidance news, DocuSign, ticker DOCU, they see Q1 revenue coming in at 7.45 to 7.49 million. Street estimate is 7.55 billion. A little bit of a downtick. Ultra Beauty sees Full year 2025 EPS coming in $22.50 to $22.90. Street estimates 23.46. Again, that's a down day. Shareholders meeting, Pilgrim's Pride, that's ticker PPC, Paul Charlie, they're having an investors day today, and ticker OI, Oscar India, that's OI Glass, they're having an investors day today as well. In terms of buyback news, OTEX, Oscar, Tom, Edward, X-Ray, OpenText, they increased their share buyback by 150 million. Buyback now stands at a total of 450 million. In PagerDuty, ticker PD, Paul David, their board approved a new 150 million share buyback. Catalyst calls, General Mills, ticker GIS. Citibank opened up a 90-day negative catalyst watch on the stock. Not good. But that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk Pick of the Day. Bill, we've been keeping ourselves afloat here with these Pick of the Days, no matter what the market's doing, up or down. And we're entering the last day of trading this week. So, Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
Going to go with TSM, Tom, Sam, Michael, Taiwan Semiconductor. That news about the potential joint venture on Intel's fabrication unit, that's positive, and that could help push the stock higher today. I mean, I'm looking at, yesterday's call volume, 66,098 versus put volume of 52,999. That's positive. Open interest is negative, 784K versus 926K. But the brokers still like it. They still have elevated price targets, but I mean, I originally wanted to get in at 172 area. I think I got to raise it to 172.75 now. And if it hits that, then it could be, good operation, a good trade. So I'll say 172 to 172.75 as an entry price somewhere in there. But that's my pick of the day. Taiwan Semiconductors, ticker TSM, Tom, Sam, Michael, Emily.
TSM it is on this Friday. We will follow that along with you. And coming up before we sign off for the weekend, we will take a look at yesterday's pick of the day and we do a recap on that. So stick with us through that. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, sending it back to you.
Okay, what do we got here? Trump's going to try and deal TikTok in current time frame, according to Ludnick. GLDD, Grace, Larry, David, Great Lakes Dredge. They announced a 50 million share repurchasing agreement. Tesla's getting another price target cut. Bristol Myers got EU approval of a new drug, PMY. OpenAI is urging White House to remove industry guardrails. They submitted a proposal on, the AI initiative, and they want looser regulations. Got to remember, NVIDIA CEO is going to be delivering a keynote speech at the GPU Tech Conference on Tuesday of next week. O'Reilly Auto Parts, ORLY, Board of Directors approves a 15-for-1 stock split subject to shareholders' approval. Sleep Number Beds, SNBR, Sam, Nancy, Boy, Richard. 5 members of the board are departing in response to pressure from Stadium Capital, which is their largest shareholder. Tesla plans Model Y costing at least 20% less to produce to defend China's market share. Major U.S. toy makers speed up plans to move manufacturing out of China. Oracle is in discussions with the Indonesian government to establish cloud services center in the country. That's all I'm seeing this morning.
Okay, Bill, before we get to trading on this Friday, hoping the screen sticks today, we will do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Li Auto. Now, they did report earnings. They reported Q4 revenue of $6.1 billion, and total deliveries for the fourth quarter of 2024 represented a 20.4% year-over-year increase. The company's profit did drop, though, despite its record revenue. Bill, you were trading this one yesterday, looking for some volatility. I think it bears reminding that yesterday was just a sea of red, and you were looking for a bit of a life raft on this one. How did your call work out?
Hey, look at the numbers. Stock opened up at $28.54 and then pushed all the way up to $29.34. That beats the 1% goal. So, I mean, it did close at $28.72, which is still higher than the opening price. So, you got to like that, but it never came close to my entry point. But, yesterday the stock did have some positive momentum. So I was happy with it, Emily.
I'll be happy with that on a day like yesterday, anytime. So we will call that one a win, and we will check in with you on Monday about today's Taiwan semiconductor pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here Monday and each weekday morning next week at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.